Hi folks, I'm Modulus. Today I actually wanted to bring you an update on my USS PHM of Pegasus class, but I ran into some issues of not having enough paint, so I don't think I can do an update this week. So instead I'm gonna be doing a showcase on some of my past builds again, and this time the theme or subject would be 172 scale jet fighters and helicopters. So for this showcase, it's a mixture of some very old builds and also some quite recent builds. So I'm gonna start off as usual with some, by showing some instruction manuals, and I think I'll start off with, in no particular order, I'm gonna start off with this. This is the AH64 Apache, and this kit is a very old kit. It's from Hasegawa, and I actually built this back in the, I think back in the 80s, when I think I was still a teenager. So this is really old. I think you can see from the instruction manual, and the kit is it did survive my stash throughout the, I would say, 30-40 years. So of course at that time my skills were, of course not good. So I think you can see here, these are all hand painted. At least I did still paint it, and of course it's very dusty. And I also did try to do some weathering to make it look dirty. So this kit is quite, can say it's a vintage. And then another old kit would be this. It is the MiG-29 Fulcrum. And for this kit, I can prove to you that it says here, I'm gonna zoom in, 1987. So this kit is back in the 80s, from back in the 80s, built it when I was a teenager. So there are some reference of other planes here. So Hasegawa 172 scale, pretty simple. And the kit would be this. Let me just try to reach in and show you. So, and this is also hand painted, because at that time I did not have an airbrush, and you can see that the decals have faded away and become yellowish. So, but it did survive my stash for about 30 over years. Yeah, I can see that this decal has discolored, and during those days there's no such thing as a decal setter or a mark fit, to actually protect the decals. So that's the MiG-29, and okay, this is a recent build, and this is from Hasegawa. So this is the MV22 Osprey. I might have shown it in comparison with some other models. So this kit, I did not check what year it is, but it's not so old. Okay, so it's written here 2015, and I think I built this maybe back in 2017. So this is the MV22 Osprey. So this one, because it's a recent build, I've done a lot of coatings, things like that. And this propeller actually is movable in this way, and it also spins. So that's the Osprey. And then next would be this is the A7H Corsair II, and this is the Tigermeet version. So this is from, I think it's from Hobby Boss, and I built this probably about 10 years ago. So there's a few color schemes, and so yeah, I've done Corsair II back in the 80s also, never survived my stash. So this is quite, about 10 years ago. And the thing that interested me about this kit is the decals of this Tigermeet, and I can show you here. This was done, I would say, pretty well, and it's very detailed for a 172 kit with all these landing gear base details, and there's some compartments and the weapons. So, and this decal was it's a huge piece of decal. So I had to paint the black, and then it is a mixture of the fuselage is painted, but the wings here, the black, are actually decals. So the decal, and there is a tiger marking on the tail. So this kit is it interests me from the point of the decal. So that's the Corsair II, and I don't have instruction manuals for all of these kits because some probably never survived. And I have here quite an old Revell Phantom F4E, RF4E, and this is also the Tigermeet version. And I guess when I built the Corsair II, I think the timeline was quite near for this Phantom. Somehow that time I got hooked to this Tigermeet markings, and I was actually planning to do more of the Tigermeet marking jet fighters, but I think I stopped at this too. So for the Phantom, it is also decals for this part. So it's quite the same. The fuselage, I had to paint it black, then overlap it with the decals. of the Tigermeet. And this kit is not too detailed. And I've done some white weathering. It could be the powder or the washes, just to show the panel lines. So yeah, the decals are interesting. It's all over the fuselage and the wings. And okay, so I ran out of instruction sheets, so the rest would be without instructions. So this Phantom here, I think this is the Wild Weasel. There is a WW on the tail, but you can barely see it because the decal has already become so yellowish. And this is all hand painted. I think I did this in the 90s. No weathering and washes, I think, and this part is so glossy. I think at that time I wasn't so concerned about paints, the colors, so I just painted it with whatever I had. So I can't remember which maker this kit comes from. It could be one of the Japanese makers. And then for the rest of the old kits here, back from the 80s, I have F5 Tiger. I think this is a Tigershark. And same goes for all the decals that has turned yellowish. So I think you can see no weathering, and yeah, I used gloss paint, all hand painted. So an exhaust is, I think that's a bit bronze but looks brownish. And okay, so next one would be this. This is the British Jaguar. Okay, it's all hand painted, so there's some gloss and flat paint mixed up. But as a teenager, I don't think I cared about those things. I just wanted to get it painted and looks real. So there you go. But at least I painted all these things, like even the stripes on this sidewinder. And yep, there is a ladder and a pilot. So these are all from Hasegawa. And okay, I have F16. One F16 here, no pilot with a ladder. The decal looks horrible, that now that it turned yellowish, but used to look good when I 30 years ago, I think. So that is my skill level when I was a teenager. And okay, I have another kit from the 80s, which is this. It's a Blackhawk, and this is also a Hasegawa kit. It's all painted in olive green. And okay, you can see there is a seam line there which I never took care of. I think when I was a teenager, I did not, at that time we built models and we don't really get rid of all these spotting seam lines, gap lines. The important thing was to assemble the whole thing and paint it in whatever colors, gloss or flat, and get the decals on. That would be, at the time, you know, we wanted to complete it as it is like this. But you know, as we grow older, leaving gap lines visible is unforgivable, I think. So okay, this Sea Dragon here is quite recent, maybe about, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. And I've done some, I think I have some videos uploaded on this with the blades spinning and the tail blades spinning, and there are LED lights here front and in the cockpit. But you can see that all these wires are coming out from here. It has to go to a circuit board in order for it to work, because I did not build the circuit board for this, so I was using a breadboard just to test. So it did work at that time, but I think some things, I probably blew some LEDs and motors, because when I played around with this, I don't think I marked the wires, and if I plug in wrongly, it will actually just burn off. So this is how it looks like, and this is from Italy. I think it's not such a new kit, but I got it recently and built it. So this would be all my 172 scale collection. Mixture of something back from the 80s to the 90s, and I think the latest one would be this in the 2018, maybe 17. So hope you enjoyed this showcase from the past. I will bring more showcases, but it's not so easy because I have to actually move these models and put them here. And sometimes, things will break, and especially big models with a lot of things sticking out. So this takes a little bit of time and effort to do this. But I will bring you showcases eventually. I hope all my past collections, past builds. So for this time, I think this is it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like this showcase. So until my next update on my USS PHM of Pegasus class, hopefully next week, please stay tuned, and please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll bring more videos. So until then, take care. Cheers. Bye.